There have been a few recent system updates that have been implemented to clean up the system and provide research officers with a true indication of active and compliant studies in REGIS. We'll be looking at how you can monitor and manage these studies in the system using the dashboards available in REGIS. So the first dashboard we're going to look at is the REGIS Live dashboards, and what we're going to do is we'll go through the project status update. So this update looks for any active study, excluding studies that have reached a final endpoint with an ethics HREC approval expiry of more than 12 months, and the system is then automatically suspending them. So we're going to have a look at the REGIS Live dashboard, which I've got on the screen here. We can use this dashboard to view studies that have been suspended and on what date. Just in this current application status table here, what we'd want to do is we want to look at this little column here, and this is our suspended column. When I do select that, you can see it's just got some lines there that indicates it's been selected. And to the right of the screen in our application by status days remaining, we can see that we've filtered, so we're only going to be pulling statuses of suspended. This is a little bit small, guys, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to expand it so we can have a look at this table here. And I'm just going to use this maximize option to the right of the screen here. And this option, as you can see, is available throughout these tables in this dashboard here. So just to make life a bit easier so we can see it nice and clear here, you can organize the dates in this table by clicking on the current status date. And that's just this column here. So we can see current status dates from 2019. Okay, and if we wanted to see more recent, you'd click on that header again. What we're going to do is if we wanted to, say, for example, access the study we're looking at, all you'd have to do is just click on that. Okay, that's the application identifier column. Okay, it just opens a new tab and it will just load that study there. If you wanted to export all the data in this particular table as well, guys, we've got a little export option here. So it's just this little box with an arrow pointing up. And if we click on that, okay, it gives us the option to export to PDF and also to Excel. Just going to minimize this one now. And just to reiterate, all we've done with this particular table in this instance is we've just used the current application status table to look at our suspended studies. I've then gone to the application by status days remaining table, and I've gone ahead and just filtered by current status date. What I've just shown you, you might be asking, what should you or can you do with this information? The biggest thing we want to talk about is active management. It's your best option. I would recommend monitoring the list once a week, and that will allow you to talk with your researchers to discuss how you want to manage these studies. So for example, is an entire new application required? Is submission of HREC approval extension acceptable? Or has the study finished and the researcher needs to submit a final report? Again, this is something you'll need to manage and decide, most possibly by case and taking a risk-based approach. The next one we're going to look at is our automatic withdrawal functionality update. So that was current functionality in the system that had been updated to allow research officers a bit more flexibility on when an application should be withdrawn. This allows clearer communication from reviewing research officers to researchers on their individual expectations of response timeframes. It will also allow the system to clear out inactive applications for you. So again, you're using the same dashboard. We're going to still use the REGIS Live dashboard. It was recently updated, so research officers could easily identify all studies currently in the status of withdrawn. So same thing here. I would go ahead and because I've just selected this, guys, I don't want this data to be in this table to the right of the screen here. So I'm going to clear this data. And how I can do that is just this little, I'll call it a little funnel here, just in the right-hand corner of the current application status table. And you can see if I hover over it, it might be a bit small. It does say clear the master filter. So all I do is click on that. Okay, and that's just going to reset this back to its original filters here. And like I said, now I want to select the withdrawn column. So again, you can see if I hover over it, I click on it, we get those little lines indicating it's been selected. And to the right of the screen here in the application by status days remaining, we're now only looking at applications with the withdrawn status. So again, I'll just expand that so it's a bit bigger on the screen and we'll have a look here. So in this table, again, we can see that days in status column here. And similar to what we did with the previous option with the header there, if we just click on it, you're just filtering by how many days in status it has been. So you can see we've got some big numbers here. Probably likely we can have a look at that and maybe manually withdraw that from a research office perspective. So again, if we just click on that header, we're just going to see ones that have recently been in this status for how many days. So minimal days here to ones with large numbers. I'll just close that. So again, I've shown you some information. What do you want to do with it? What can you do with it? Again, this is a good way to monitor the amount of days a study has been sitting in the statuses of in progress, information requested, etc., and actively manage them. You're not necessarily having to just look for withdrawn. You can actually get to it ahead of time. You can reach out to the researchers, let them know their study has so many days remaining before it will be manually or automatically withdrawn from the system. And that means an entire new application submission is required. Or if your office is withdrawing studies earlier than the 180 days automatically being withdrawn by the system, again, it's a really good way to monitor those days remaining until studies reach your specific timeframes. And what we're going to also look at is overdue milestone status change. This is going to be a different dashboard, but I'll just quickly talk about that update we had in the system. So this enhancement looks for any pending ethics milestone progress reports that are greater than 6 months overdue. The system then automatically changes the status from pending to not achieved. And what it does is provide research officers with a true indication of active studies in the system, while also reduce the amount of milestone reminder emails that would be sent. The reminder emails were recently turned back on for progress reporting there. So we're not going to use the REGIS Live dashboard for this because REGIS Live dashboard is an application dashboard. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our project milestone dashboard here, and this is specifically an ethics project milestone we're going to look at. Okay, we're looking at our progress reporting for ethics. All right, so we've got our project milestone dashboard loaded here. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly clear some filters here. So again, that just lets me know there's some filters there, so I'm just going to clean that up. And what we're going to look at here is how we can utilize this particular dashboard. The project milestone dashboard can be used to review milestones that have been not achieved by the system, and I'll show you the filtering options that we'll be wanting to use. So the filters I'm going to use to pull these not achieved progress reports is I'm going to start with my milestone type just to the left of the screen here. Okay, so I'm going to click that. Get rid of that. I just want progress reports. So again, ethics progress reports here. Okay, the next filter I'm going to use, I'm going to go over to the right of the screen to milestone status. And again, just click on that drop down. And I'm looking for not achieved. So I'm going to clear all of them. And I'm going to click not achieved. So those are the two filters I'm currently going to use in the top filtering options here. So again, milestone type, progress report, and milestone status not achieved. In the application detail table, so just to the bottom of the screen here, I'd be able to use the following columns to further identify when my progress report was not achieved. And what I'd have a look at, guys, just to the right of the screen here is date processed. So bottom right-hand corner here. Again, if you click headers, it'll kind of filter from oldest to newest. So again, you can play with that, just filtering the way you want to have a look there. You can also use this table to see progress reports that are close to reaching 6 months overdue as well. And again, the way you'd want to do that is you'd leave the milestone type, you just change the status. So the status would be pending, and this is how you can see if there's anything that's going to be close to reaching 6 months overdue, and you might want to go ahead and communicate that with your researcher. So again, if we're just looking at these date due, okay, we can have a look here. Just in this column to the left of the screen here. What I also wanted to talk about is if through communicating with your researcher, it is identified that you do need them to submit a milestone, you guys can manually create a new milestone. I'm going to show you, if you're not sure or you're unaware of, I'm going to show you how to manually create a milestone. So I've got something set up in Sandpit. So guys, Sandpit is your very best friend. Don't do anything in production, guys. If you want to play around and test things out, and you might want to you're not comfortable creating a milestone that I'm about to show you, try it in Sandpit first, and once you're more comfortable, go ahead and do it in prod if you need to. So I've got my project here, so my ethics. So just remembering, guys, milestones are created only for projects, okay? Not your project identifier, just an FYI. I've seen that a few times. Don't do it in your project identifier. It is for your ethics project, or if you need to create milestones governance, it would be your site project. Again, just reiterating, project, nice and easy to identify with the big green monitor here. And from here, what we want to do first, I want to make sure that my study is editable. Right now, it's not editable. How can I see that? Top right-hand corner, little pencil in the box icon, edit. Click on that. It's going to make the study editable here. Okay, you can see it's been unlocked. I've got some places I can kind of update data. What you want to do is navigate to milestones from the left-hand menu here within the study. So milestones, we just click on that. And it's nice and easy, guys. All we do is, again, we're in edit mode. We have this add milestone button just under the milestone summary to the middle of the screen here. We click add milestone. We throw the title of the milestone in. This is a really good opportunity for you guys as well. If a milestone is required and it's an urgent milestone, why not just throw urgent in there? How about we just put a number in there? When it does generate in the external portal, and I'll just show you because we're doing really well for time, I'll show you what I mean. It'll appear here anyway. So this is what your researchers see. They see the identifier and they'll see the title here. So what I'm trying to do at this point is I'm going to just make this a little bit clearer to say it's urgent. And it will show urgent. You don't have to put an identifier or anything in here, guys. You could simply keep it really simple, urgent progress report, or you could put the study title if you really wanted to as well. And we're just saying it's a progress report there. Underneath that, we have type. So we're selecting the type of milestone it is. It's a progress report. Organization pre-fills, guys, do not change that. It's fine. Current due date. This is where I personally, if I was manually creating a milestone for a researcher that has not submitted one and it's 6 months overdue, it's not been achieved, I'd give them a very short time frame to get back to me, maybe a 2-week period. So you click on the calendar here for your current due date. So 2 weeks, 30th, giving them a time frame. You can control when it comes back. Okay, you're saying it's due on this date. We hit OK. Big thing here, this data isn't saved. How do I know that? It's not black text. So just a tip there, if you're ever editing, adding anything, and you see anything other than a black text, that is a really, really good indicator that nothing is saved yet. Also a good indicator, top right-hand corner, we've got a little floppy disk. Bonus points for those that remember that. And all we do is hit save. We can see that that's now gone to a black text there. Let me show you from the external portal what it's going to look like. I think I've got some that are quite overdue. So what I'm going to do, just to show you from the researcher's perspective what it looks like, I'm going to go and find my projects, pop my PID in here. I'm going to utilize that PID. It's going to help me really narrow down where my study is. Just going to click on the ethics identifier. It is approved. It's going to take me directly to the project information overall. And we've got a milestone header. So I click on that and you can see the title here. Okay, so we've got that, and I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So that's what I titled it. So when you guys are manually creating milestones and you do title it however you like, this is what it looks like. I think that's a pretty good one. Urgent, I'd probably get on top of that one and go ahead and complete that. So that's what it looks like from your researcher's point of view. When you do manually create a milestone again and you've titled it whatever you like, that is how it reflects for your researcher when they see that as well.